Okay, welcome back to AR Tales, aka the A.R.T podcast. I am A.R. Mirabal, and I am joined with Nicolette Beebe, author of Mar King and Sir Bennet, coming soon. You
Yes.
can find the Mar King on Amazon and Kindle. I've had the pleasure of reading a little bit, and we'll get into that in a couple minutes. But for right now, I'm sorry. How
It's
can
all
we
good.
how can you find you? Where can the people find you? Social media links?
So I'm on Instagram like all the time. So if I'm on my phone, it's probably because I'm on Instagram because all my friends are there, all my writer friends, and we have a great time. So 33NBB is my Instagram handle. And I also have another one. It's called Books and Light, and that's like my secret like bookstagram page where I just like post my reviews of different things. So that one's not as popular, but kind of my own thing. And then I also I have a Twitter that I pretend to use, but I don't really know how to use it.
Hmm.
That's just kind of there.
Yeah, Twitter's different monster altogether.
Yeah, it is. And I've tried to like be part of that community and it's just like fighting me hard. So I'm gonna stick to my Instagram.
I found out it's just you have to just retweet everything that everybody else is retweeting.
Okay, I'll try it again because I didn't know that. I don't even know what a retweet is.
Yeah, I mean, again, you're talking from a person that's looking purely analytical. I never liked
Yeah,
social media, and then now I got told that I got to take care of it. I'm like, all right, now I got to.
exactly. And that was the other thing is like, how am I gonna start? Who's gonna follow me? And I don't have a book to be like, hey, you like my writing? Follow me. That was all completely brand new, trying to figure that out. Dude, it was so hard.
Well, I'll tell you, it's part of like the why I like talking to like authors on like the podcast, and I mean just in general,
Mhm.
is because like your writing is influenced by the type of person that you are. So by just selling yourself, you're selling your writing. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. I say that my characters go through a lot because I go through a lot. So
All right. So before we get into the actual books, I want to know the direct inspiration of the book, of marking, how you got the name, everything. Oh, and by the way, just I loved aesthetically how the book looked. Truly.
isn't it beautiful? I
Who
can't believe it's
who did that
mine.
for you? How?
So it's amazing. So his name is Alexander Kopinski, and he's based in Germany, which I didn't know, but either way, it didn't deter me. I was on like hashtags looking for people like just covers
So on
artists.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Wow.
And every time the ones that caught my eye were his art. And I kept clicking and I was like, oh, it's him again. Okay, wait. No. Oh, it's him again. Okay. And I kept clicking and I was like, all right, it's a sign. I gotta talk to him. I was like, hopefully he speaks English, and he does. So I was like, this is great. He's such a pleasure to work with too.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I mean, it was I mean, as you know, like part of everything is the aesthetic pleasing. It's not just like the text and all the amount of I almost want to jump into the actual nuances of the writing because like the I want to there's the very two first pages. They're just something that just like got me. It just yeah, it just ripped me, and I was like, because I like little things that you almost have to put the book down for a minute and think about it, like the real life philosophical aspect of like what would kind of just like transcribed in that little like just scene.
Right.
I really like that, and I have to
Thank
say,
you.
yeah, I definitely got that within the first two pages.
I have
But
yet to find anyone who has predicted this book at all. I didn't even know it was happening. I was like, oh, dang, I guess we're writing this.
well, all right, well, segueing into that, how did writing start for you? Not just writing the book, but how did writing period? Is it something that started from you young and you knew immediately, or is it something that developed when you were older?
So I sucked at school.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't know how to read. I didn't know until fourth grade that I actually have dyslexia, and nobody knew that I had dyslexia. So reading and writing were like, get it away from me. I don't want to look at it. I don't want to touch it. Just don't bring it up. And it wasn't until high school when my friends were like, oh my gosh, you have to read this book. It's called Twilight. I'm like, I'm not going to read a book. I don't like books. Get away from me. And then they kept bringing it up and bringing it up, and I'm like, how do you love a fictional character? And I was like, okay, fine, I'll read it. And I read it in 2 days. And I know that's crazy, but it was the trigger book for me. And I was like, if she can do this, I can do this. And so then I had always like kept journals and stuff, but it was never like fictional things. It was like, oh my God, that boy looked at me. And I was like in second grade. Oh my God. So, but I have also really had an overactive imagination.
Yeah.
So I've always had characters and plots going in and out. And to me, it was like I was just staring in the distance and my parents were like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm thinking. I didn't know that those were like plots and stories
Yeah.
that I'm sad that some of those were just kind of left out in the wilderness now of my mind that I never wrote down because I never knew that this was my calling. This is what I was supposed to be doing the whole time. So that's kind of how it started.
Did you ever play with like when you played with your toys as a kid, did you ever play with like really intense plots? I noticed that I did.
I'm thinking, I don't really remember.
Because I do
I'm sure I did.
I remember that when I used to again, it was one of those things that you never pay attention to it until like, you kind of dissect when you're older. Because
Yeah.
I went into engineering. I didn't think I was gonna get into
Wow.
writing until I would say my sophomore year.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I can't even say writing, is that I got the idea for the book. I didn't think I would be a writer until basically I graduated. And it was a complete 180. You know what I mean? I'll turn
That's
around. Oh,
awesome.
by the way, I know I just graduated engineering, but pay attention.
But parents, it's okay because I'm gonna be a writer.
No, this is the one. I know. I know that this path seems a lot more like rugged and high paying and whatnot, but I like doing these little things, the little doodles and whatnot.
Yes,
But I mean, it's just the passion behind it,
exactly. I feel
I
like you don't have a choice.
that is what it is that you don't have a choice. It becomes an obsession. For me, it was just like my whole thing was I do sci-fi, so it's basically derivatives of like technology that I like think is cool. So I'll start off
Mhm.
with a thing that I think I really like, and I go to the highest of whatever that is. So we have cell phones now. What would be the future just
Oh,
going on,
cool.
or maybe a derivative of that, like how would technology on a planet that is abundant with helium-3, how would
That's
that
so
develop?
cool. Well,
Just
you're
things
an
like that.
engineer, so you have the See, everything works out for the best.
Yeah, exactly. I try to explain that, and they're like, no, 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 you should be. But I was like, no, but I can really go in on the engineering aspects, and is that I met people that are way smarter than me that I can be like, hey, would that work? And be like, nah, 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 that would work, and I'd be like, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yes,
makes sense, and
that's
then
hilarious.
I would take that, and then when I would take that awesome idea, they were like, all right, I would love to have this technology. Then I twist it, be like, all right, now how would this really fuck up society in a really
Yeah,
mean way?
yeah.
Because the people that made the iPhone didn't think that it would be addicting. There's no way. There's no way
Right,
that you would think of like a Twitter.
right.
There was no way. Though there was no way you could think of.
Or the watches in those secret agent movies, they're talking in their watches like, what? Oh
Yeah,
yeah, that's the thing now.
or like the camera. I mean, like imagine you
Right.
saw the pictures of the people in the 1960s with the
Yeah.
right,
Yeah, because it
and
took
like
so long.
yeah, and it took so long to get the cameras. Who thought that there would be a camera everywhere? It would be a thing that you would put a tape over because you're
Right.
scared that people
You're
would like, be
scared.
looking, people
That's
were
what
looking at
this
what
is
you
for.
yeah, you know,
I
it
have my
like
sticky note.
yeah, to me that was just how I just blended and derived my writing, and it was
That's
something
awesome.
that it was like it was just a thought process to me, that
Yeah.
like it was just like a fun thing to think about, and then eventually just became an obsession, and I got into writing. What did you feel kind of the same way, or was it just pow?
I relate to your story so well. So I actually was going into medical. I was doing physical
Okay.
therapy. I went to Davis to do exercise biology, and I got a degree in it. And I was like, great, this is where I'm going with life. My brother's a doctor, my mom's a nurse. This is what's happening. And then I said, okay, but this obsession with writing is just, it's not going away. And
Mm.
like I would sleep and wake up thinking of them, and I would go to sleep, and then it was like I couldn't
Yeah.
I couldn't focus on studying, even though I got my degree and everything. So I was like, what can I do that'll give me enough time to write? At the same time, I want to enjoy what I'm doing, and I want more stories, and I want to meet more people. So I naturally just got into teaching because I love kids. I was camp counselor forever, and so I was like, okay, great. But now it's funny because I for a long time I looked back on it thinking like, what a waste of time. I'm not using my degree at all. Like I feel horrible. I spent all this money and but now when I'm writing, I'm like, oh, this person got injured. Well, I know what the process would be if that happens, or like, okay, she can't get injured that badly because in that case, like we're gonna have to put a stop to the book for like a couple months, and that's boring. But I also do the same thing. I call up my brother. I'm like, hey, so this fictional character gets in a car crash. What is the least intrusive way to get her back in action? So it's funny because you said the same thing, and I think yours works so well with sci-fi. You could just like branch off into millions of different ways just because of the knowledge you had from college and high school. That's so cool.
I mean, Jesus Christ. I usually always have my phone on thing, but now it wants to play with me.
That's
Sorry
like when
about
I'm
that.
Skyping or I'm video chatting the kids and my like iTunes will start playing. I'm like, oh my gosh, what was I listening to?
Man, I'm crazy dumb. I just turned it louder.
Well done. Well done.
Oh yeah, as I was just talking about the engineering and everything, proved, verified now. But it's actually kind of funny. I love tutoring too. I mean, I did it. I volunteered when I was in college.
Nice.
As far as like writing go, do you think, man? Actually, going back to the medical thing, I actually really noticed that in the writing. It's funny that you kind of that you like went into it. Yeah, I can't. I really wish I could like specifically quote it, but like it was basically Marking, well, Sarah is like being kind of grabbed by Dexter, and she does kind of like a move, and it's real technical. And at first,
I'm also a black belt.
Really?
So that's where most of her moves come from.
You see, because I thought immediately, I'm like, okay, she had to have done very good research for it, or she knows.
I did.
Yeah, or she knows what she's thought. Oh my God, that is amazing. What a black belt in what?
Taekwondo.
Oh my God.
But like I was a lot younger back then.
I just got into kickboxing, and I'm transitioning into Muay Thai.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I did it just yeah, I did it just because well, I love it. I was pretty like overweight in the beginning of college, and then I like lost like a whole bunch of it, and then I just kind of like got really like into the gym. But the main reason I wanted to get into Muay Thai was because I realized that the book I'm writing now is a really martial art based. Nice. And like I didn't know martial arts, so I was like, all right, like how well am I gonna really write it if I don't know what I'm talking about? And like I can only research so much. You have to feel it, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, you know what I mean? Like being able to like really talk about how your feet hurts when you like do like a type of like a high kick is a lot different than writing about the technique, like Googling up some medical term about it.
Right. Or like a YouTube video.
Yeah. And like when you're actually like there in the moment, and it just like leads into like what we were talking about before, is like kind of like writing what you know, and like experiences what you were talking about, and like meeting more people, because all those things channel into like the type of person that you are and your experiences, and that's you can channel that into characters.
Yes, exactly. So you know now. Now you're like, I know what move you're doing, Sarah.
Well, I mean, just everything about the book. Well, all right. Since we're dancing around it, how did you get into the story of marking? How did marking come up to be?
So it's funny because like I don't like blood or anything, but I love anything post-apocalyptic or apocalyptic, like World War Z 2. I'm waiting for it, you know.
Have you seen the Black Mirror episode, the black and white one?
Not yet. It is on my list.
Oh yeah, it's like it's exactly what you're talking about.
Some things I can't watch. Like I have to have like my dad or my husband watch it first and be like, no, you can't handle it. And so like, but you write about this stuff. How come you can't handle it? I'm like, I don't know. It's just a thing.
So writing is different than seeing it, you know.
I think so. Yeah, I see it in my head. Like that's enough haunting.
Yeah.
For the meantime. But I love, like, I didn't know if I wanted to do zombies or like, I don't know, earthquakes or natural disasters. Like, I don't know. And I always had it in the back of my mind that that's what I wanted to do. I just had to wait to be good enough, I guess, to have the inspiration to do that. Because normally the characters find me, I don't really think about them too much. They just badger me until I write them out.
Hell yeah.
And I was sitting at a stoplight, and I don't know, I was listening, I think it's like Billie Eilish or something, and I was thinking about, it was that what song was it? All the Good Girls Go to Hell, right? So very fitting with the theme of our story here.
Yeah.
And it just hit me. They came to me and they're like, you know, and all the scenes came to me, and I think I like floored it. I ran home and I didn't stop writing until like 4 a.m. And I didn't stop writing it until like 1 month later. So I wrote it all the month of November, which is why I wanted to publish it a year later on the day that I got the idea. I have never written a book in a month. It's not a thing. My books take like 10 years to write and they're not even done yet. So this was like an anomaly. And I said, this is something. This has to be something. So that's kind of the background. It's a weird background of the way that I got the idea. They just showed me, they're like, you're going to do this, whether you like it or not. I'm like, cool, I'm ready for it.
That is phenomenal.
Isn't that crazy? People think I'm crazy.
No, the same thing happened to me. I got in a dream.
Yes.
It was I can't say it was like a full dream. It was kind of like, you know, when you wake up and you're like, come on, give me 5 more life. Right. It was in one of those half sleeps. I just got like a full idea, just like you said, and it took me a full year to even like download what that was, and then I broke down that into like a story, and then so on and so forth.
Wow, so you remembered it for a whole year? That's amazing.
I have. So like I said, it took me a while to even piece together that I wanted to go writing. So it was just a thought experiment. So that thought experiment got into like about 9 books before I started writing anything down.
You have 9 books?
Well, like plotted in my head, yeah.
That's amazing. That's so cool. I don't even know what like the next chapter is going to be. And here you have like 9 already planned out. All you got to do is write it.
Yeah, I have it. That's the only problem is that it's the writing like thing. Like the amount of, especially joining the writing community, all the people that put like the memes that's like, oh, I should be writing. It's like, oh, motherfucker, I know. Yeah. I know. Because I got a day job too, you know, I'm over here doing fucking with lasers, like wishing I can just like be home, but everything just goes together.
And then you stare at your computer, because that's what I do. And I'm like, all right, this is the time for me to write. I'm not working, but nothing's coming to me.
No, is that like, this is the thing, is that for as much as I want to be a hard ass, I love Christmas. Like,
nice.
Love, adore Christmas. Like, at the moment I get home and I turn on my Christmas tree, all I want to do is snuggle over my dogs and watch a Christmas movie. Fuck writing, my dreams. What? What do you mean?
That's great.
Motivation.
Great. You have, you know, like absolutely.
And I live in the north. It gets nice and cold, you know? Yeah. I like it.
It's like a time for reading.
Yeah.
It's your research time, you know?
Yeah.
Near the fire, you got to pull out the book, get a sci-fi book out and be like, I like the way they said that. I did not like the way they did that. Boom, you got another story in January.
And I mean, like, for as much, like, I feel like every author I've talked to, like, we all joke about the same thing. Like, we all talk about like the Netflix research time. But I really think it is a tried and true thing. Yeah. I got a lot of, and I noticed it in your book too. I love the point of view flips.
Thank you.
It is something that, all right, how did you feel about it? Were you nervous about it at first?
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Because I normally, all of my other books have been YA, so they've all been in first person, either present tense or past tense. And then it wasn't until college where I got this other story, where I was like, oh, it's in third person. That's so weird. How am I going to do? I like don't read, so I don't even know if it's a thing. And so what I was doing was I was flipping back and forth in their point of views in the same chapter. And I started sending it out to beta readers. See your face. You just made that face of like, yeah, that was a terrible choice. No. Well, it was a terrible choice. No, it made everyone confused. It was terrible. So going back and like re-editing and pulling out parts of the other characters' like perspective was a nightmare and a half. So I said, when I go into Mark King, I'm going to do it right and keep everything organized. People don't like that weird, like, flip it. I don't know what it is about it.
All right. So as you were talking about, a story just overcomes you, right? And it's hard to like pick apart from like your idea from it.
Exactly.
Real hard. My book has 4 flips. It has 2 main characters, but then there's a time flip in between when they're 13 and when they're 33, basically a 20-year gap. So it goes in between. I mean, I feel like there's a pretty good flow by the time you hit like chapter 4, because you understand it goes like, all right, A B, A B.
Okay, so
You
you
know
have
what
a
I mean?
pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it go like the first chapter is basically the almost like the first 5 minutes of like the 80s movies, like waking up in like the character's point of view, but in the sci-fi world that they live in.
that's awesome.
So like, you know, he's like going into the technology, waking up, and then he goes and he works at a repair shop, and a kid burst in with a broken like hub psych, and he goes like, yo, my name is Aiko, you fix hub psychs here. And then flips to the next chapter. Next chapter is that character, but it starts from his waking up,
That's
and then
awesome.
it leads into how he goes meets at the repair shop, and then their interaction continues from where you had left off in the previous chapter, and continues to the next point, and then it flips
And
to
then
the
it flips
20
again.
year.
That's so cool. See, because sometimes you want to know what the other character is thinking during specific scenes. And I think that you've mastered that.
I can't say I've mastered it, and I
It
will.
sounds like you've mastered it.
Well, the thing, it's more an obsession, because
Right.
like I got minor in psychology. Is it? No, yeah, psychology. I always get them
What did I
into
major in? It was
It was
so
always
long ago.
it was like sociology, because sociology and psychology always seem like the same type of thing. I always get like mixed up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it was psychology, and I love I don't know. That's like the main thing I loved. I just like the driving force of people, and like how things can look so different from like a different lens. You know what I mean? How a person can look so, which is again why I loved that point of view flip, because like you see one character in such a way that you seem like, all right, well that person is completely, you just write them off, and then you
Right,
see the other point of view and it's like, all right, well that makes a lot more sense now,
right, right.
and now everything seems a lot more like it's almost like what Poe did with the like man, I always fuck up the name, but the unreliable narrator, where you almost
Yeah.
like you understand that the narrator, that the point, like the character is just a character in a world,
Hmm.
and the world is larger than the point of view that they're going in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And and it's funny because when I'm doing those flips, I have to figure out which character's perspective is more interesting. Right? So
Mm.
I'll go through like a whole chapter of, let's say, Dexter's perspective, and then realize this would be way cooler in her perspective. But do I really want to delete everything? And I'll just sit there and go delete, 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 delete. It's like heart crushing, but oh well.
Well, man, there's something I kind of want to ask, but I don't. There is magic in this book. Yes,
Yes. Well,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
yes. Yeah.
So how did
I don't want to spoil anything.
yeah, I don't either. That's why I kind of want to dance around it. How did all right, inspiration for it. What is your like Harry Potter? Obviously, that was a thing that you liked, right? Did you grow up on Harry Potter?
Well, no, I didn't. Well, I didn't
Yeah,
like
me either.
reading, right? I didn't like reading, and that was like way above my reading level. Like it was like if I
All
was
the smart
very
kids read
level,
that.
right? And I
Yeah.
tried it, man. I tried it. My mom even did, like, was nice enough to want to read it to me out loud. And I just didn't have the patience, or like, and anytime they said something, I was like, but this character is talking to me. Do I really have to sit and listen? But no, I didn't grow up on Harry Potter, but my husband loves Harry Potter. So we have a plan where once we finish our Twilight reading, we're going to read Harry Potter together. So that way I can say that I've read it.
That is funny. I did not. Did he? I read Percy Jackson. That was the one that I got into, but I really read Captain Underpants. That was my shit. That was the one
Oh,
that I hawked. Yeah, that was the
my
one.
my students love Captain Underpants.
To this day, really, it's
Yeah,
still
it's
going.
huge in fourth grade. That and the amulet. Like I have copies that are just bent and ripped, and they're like thrown in their backpacks, and then they're brought back all mangled. They're like, but I loved it. I'm like, that's great. Buy me a new copy.
Can you imagine being at that level?
No, I have kids in my fourth grade that are reading Harry Potter. I'm like, how? But how?
No, I'm at being at that level as the author. That your copies
Oh,
are all bent and covered. However, like you know.
I mean, yeah, that would be cool. I don't think I'm there yet, but
Oh, but
it's the dream.
the ultimate dream.
It's the dream. And then a movie, maybe. We'll put that out in the universe so
6
they
books in
can
a movie.
There you go, 6 books and 6 books and 7 movies, because the last one always has to be split into 2.
Always.
Always. That's the mark of success.
Did you like the Hunger Games series?
Yes, I loved the Hunger Games.
My
Rue
favorite,
is my
honestly.
all-time favorite fictional character. That was the first
Yeah.
time I think I cried during a book. That was the first time, I think.
And the movies, I mean, God.
They're good. They're really good. I didn't watch them for a really long time because I was like, I didn't want to taint the way that I love the book.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, forget it. It's whatever. So I just watched it and I was like, I love it even more. Why did I wait so long? Although she has that new book out. Have you read the new one?
Of Song.
Yeah, and
Of
Bird or
a
something.
Ballad of Mockingbirds, and I don't know. It's long. It's a long title.
It's a long title.
The cover looks real cool.
Yeah.
And
I haven't heard great things about it.
Me either, honestly.
I don't know if I'm gonna venture out there.
But you hope that's kind of like Titan syndrome, like when a person gets like big and there's like people that kind of like want to come up and just oppose it, just like, oh well, it's not that great, it's not as great as the previous work.
Right.
Because yeah, and like if you read into that woman, Suzanne Collins, that woman is a beast. She wrote that trilogy in less than a year.
What?
Trilogy, yeah.
Dang. Well, that's impressive because I write like 10 years. So
yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, she wrote it like in 3-month intervals, because she was a screenwriter prior, like a professional one. So like the way that she plots the books is the same way she does like a movie, like Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. Cool. And how each chapter is like broken up in that way. I mean, like she's very technical about it. 9 months.
It shows.
Yeah. 9 months, and that is the 3rd most sold franchise, like under Twilight and Harry Potter.
Dang.
Yeah.
Dang. I mean, she also had an agent, which I think helps a lot.
How do you feel about that?
Oh gosh. Not great, because I'm a little bitter. I have sent out my stuff for like 3-4 years every day, nonstop. Didn't hear anything. Then I got a couple back that were like, we really like this, but we would like it better if, right? And I would change it. And I did. I know I liked it better. And then I would put it back. I would, submit it again. And they're like, yeah, but what if this? I'm like, okay, I'll change it again. And I would submit it and they're like, we're not taking it. I was like, oh, that was the closest I've ever been.
What? My heart broke.
I know. Isn't that sad? That was so sad. I was devastated. I'm like, then why am I doing this? Why are characters talking to me? Why am I spending like hours, blood, sweat, tears doing this if it doesn't amount to anything? Does that make sense?
My heart sank.
I'm sorry.
No, why? No, that's real. That's awesome.
Yeah. It was really sad. I went through I gave up writing. You know what? I'm sure you felt those times.
Hell yeah.
Oh, we're done. Throw your computer out the window. It's over. We're done. Right?
What I always think about, like, I always have like a montage of like me like overlooking a cliff,
right?
Kicking a rock down a stream, taking a cold shower, just looking down.
Yeah. Like, damn it. We're going
at a coffee shop, just like looking at my coffee. Always.
Melancholy.
Yeah,
true writer spirit.
Yeah, a French film, noir.
Yeah, exactly.
But don't you love the roller coaster? Because it goes from that to like one person going like, hey, I really liked your character, to being like,
yeah, it's like
flowers and unicorns everywhere. You're talking to your dog like, high five, motherfucker, what's up?
Yeah.
Me and Stephen King right here.
You might as well just put him on the back and say that he loved it.
Google me. What are you talking about?
As long as someone's heard of you, right? It doesn't matter how good or bad you are. Someone's heard of you. It's fantastic. It's good news.
Oh my God. I remember the first time I did it, because I didn't do like the whole agent query. I actually really believe in self-publishing, honestly.
That's good.
Weirdly enough. Like, I think it's like an enterprise. I think it's like the same way that like how the music industry turned out with like SoundCloud.
Right.
How like artists were, because in the 90s, record labels were bending artists over. I mean, there's a phenomenal bands that people listen to this day that they still sell records, and the artist live like regular, they like have jobs,
That's
because
awesome.
like the 90% of the revenue still go to the record labels.
I know, and that's sad.
Yeah.
It's nice
And
that they get to do what they want to do.
exactly, because that's the whole like thing they put up. It's like, oh well, we supported your life, but as far as like all the money off that, we'll just take that. I
Yeah.
feel like traditional publishers to a certain degree kind of do that.
Yes. The only thing is that I have zero knowledge about marketing. None. I just zero. And no money to do any of it on my own. So that was the other battle, is that I had to fight, was like, okay, this was my dream, is to get an agent and be agented, right? And so I've had to shift that dream now to doing it all on my own. So that was hard. That was hard. And I like poured all my money into this cover. I don't know why. I had a feeling. So I did. And then I was like, hey, I guess I'm going to edit my own book. My husband's going to edit the book. My sister-in-law is an amazing editor. She's going to edit the book. She's not an editor. I call her an editor. She's a speech pathologist, but she's amazing enough to do it for free for me. So that's kind of like, I just had to scrap together things to make it happen myself, which I kind of like.
Yeah.
Now I can say I did it myself.
That is, that's what I'm saying. Like, right? I don't know. I like that that spirit behind it, that you really feel like you can stamp it like, no, that's mine. That's not
right.
Like you wrote the copyright page yourself, right?
I took because I think once you have, so I have copyright, but once you have copyright, they don't tell you what to put in as the copyright, but there's like templates online that you can copy and put in. So
no, yeah, but you put that yourself in the book, right?
Yeah, I did all of it.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
that's what I'm saying. You wrote your own copyright page.
Yes, I did. That's
you didn't
cool.
send that. You didn't send that to an editor, and they didn't put it in for you. You did that.
I did that.
Yeah, you wrote your own copyright. You
okay,
wrote,
you're making me feel better now.
Yeah, you wrote, fucking Nicolette, Beebe, motherfucker, owns this shit. If you want a copyright, email me.
Right.
$100 in the envelope. Don't fuck around.
Right. Oh, that's true. I did. Every page, I even reread every page and was like, I had my proof copy and I was editing on each page that I had to like go through. And now I'm like still finding things that I messed up on. But like, I'm reading other books now and I'm like, okay, that's a mess up and that's a mess up. They don't care. Why? Like, it's never going to be perfect, guys. I have to be okay with that.
Man, I had those, Steve R. Gans, he was on murder thriller author I had like a month ago. He said something that it had still resonates with me almost every day. He said that basically that like he was like crippled by like lack of confidence for so long in his writing until he hit like a point that like he's not striving for perfection. For as much as you want to write the next whatever the best book in your head is, most likely it won't. You got to strive for whatever the best, like, whatever your shit is.
Right.
And then it like there is no perfection, like, that you're gonna you have to wait and just hold on to it and make sure that everything is like, perfectly chiseled in.
Right.
As long as like the themes that you convey and like the ideas you want to pursue are like written and on the template that you want to, I mean, that's
right.
it.
Right. That's exactly right. Okay, I just lost my train of thought because I was thinking about what you said.
It happens to me all the time.
Oh my God. So embarrassing.
I'm the host and it happens to me and then I'm there like, oh yeah, so
I was like, remember that? My bad. Okay. But yeah, I think it's a really cool feeling to say that you did this on your own. So, and you're self-published too, right?
Yeah.
That's so cool. We are the coolest club ever.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, I really think that like we're the beginnings of SoundCloud. I truly believe that as like an enterprise, that like we're the beginning of like this type of thing to just fully push out that traditional thing and fully keep it in-house and just do our own shit.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's the case. And I hope that self-publishing eventually gets more credit, because I feel like
a lot of us are working for free. It is not fair.
Yeah.
It's not fair.
Yeah, that and like
these Wattpad writers, you're doing too much work. I'm telling you. I'll do a PSA right now. You're doing too much.
You're doing too much work. I actually was on. So I was
in a good way. But like, you're doing too much.
well, a writer's a writer. We understand.
Yeah.
But I was on Figment. Have you heard of Figment? It was
No, no,
it
no.
was this amazing writing platform that was like years ago. And I had like a lot of followers and I loved posting my writing and people would like edit it for free and it was great. And I would do the same for them. And we were such a good community. And then one day they were like, it's gone. Like all your work, all the comments, all your reviews, just gone. And that was like devastating because this was my life. I loved coming home and just hanging out on Figment. So I was like, hey, what other writing communities are there? Because it was so fast. I didn't get a chance to like talk to the people that I normally talk to, and now they're gone. Like I just have usernames that I don't really remember. So I tried Wattpad and I was like, okay, great. There's super popular. You can get published on this site, but there was no like, it was to discover stories, which I understand, but nowhere for me to enter the community. Like I would go and say, hey, I'll read yours. If you read mine, they're like, we won't do that. I'm like, oh, okay. Okay, never mind. And my stories just sat there. And then I just decided to take it off. And then I tried Inkit and it was the same thing. So I took it off. And eventually I was like, hey, no one's going to read this unless I publish it and like put it in people's faces to an annoying degree. So that's just what I decided to do.
Well, like the thing with Wattpad and Inkit is I think the reason is frequency. Like I think I noticed I didn't try Inkit or Wattpad. I mean, I have it now, and I'm gonna be starting putting my later chapters on when I kind of commune like write a little bit more, just to have kind of like free beta readers basically on like a couple chapters and like kind of catch anything that I like kind of missed, and then take them off when it actually goes into the publishing state. But I put it up on Reddit, and one thing that I noticed immediately on Reddit,
did you see my face?
Yeah, they ain't fair, son. They going in.
No,
they're taking everything.
Yeah,
and
I remember,
there. And I remember I dropped my very first short story. It like it actually kind of like it was like you talked about. Well, again, just a burst of inspiration. I woke up this morning just with this line, like it all started with the bees.
Oh, cool.
I was like, it all started with the bees. And then it just like
title
just like infected my mind. It all started with the bees. It was like somebody was in my ear. It all started with the bees. Hey man, it all started with the bees. And I was like, all right, man, like, okay. And then I couldn't think of anything further.
Yeah.
It all started with the bees. And then I just took out my phone and went on notes and knocked out the short story in like 20 minutes. It was like quick, like 300 words, nothing big.
Where can I read this? Now I'm intrigued.
It's actually a post on, I have it on honestly, is that I have like different edits. You know what I mean? I have one on my Instagram.
Okay.
I'll just send it to you. Yeah.
Yeah, send it to me. I'd love to read it.
I have the best one is on my Twitter. And actually has like, I actually put it, no, the best one is on my website, dude. I always forget I have a website.
Not the best.
I forget.
You're so busy you don't even remember you have a website.
Fuck. And I made it and paid for it, all the shit, and I forget.
That's fantastic.
God, I'm such an idiot. What was I talking about?
I have like so many social medias that people are like, I followed you on Twitter. I'm like, I have a Twitter? Like when? Oh yeah, I did a long time ago. So I get it. You're good.
No, yeah, I'm something else. No, and I oh my god, and my sleep schedule has been horrible lately too. But weird side note. Fuck, what were we talking about before?
All started with the bees.
All started with the bees. I am sorry.
You're gonna send it to me. Don't forget.
I will not.
Don't forget to send it to me.
No, I will not. And it was just a quick little thing. And I remember I made a huge mistake that I just forever Reddit helped me out with this one. Was that I threw in Trump's name only just like it's a politician. I just picked one. Like I truly, you know what I mean? Like I didn't mean for like a trigger. I just thought like Trump, boom. You know what I mean? Yeah. Idiot. Like I don't know what I was thinking. And then I posted it, and then people immediately said, oh, it was like a political thing. It was like, oh no, like the whole point, like I think the line that I had written was like back when I had thought that like the worst thing that could happen was Trump getting a second term.
Right.
That was the line. And the whole point of it was to say like it's irrelevant. No
right. You're just typing.
Like, you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
No, like in like the like within the story, like
Mhm.
what the character is saying is that like the politics of it doesn't even matter. Like that's what she like. That's what the line. Yeah, it goes right over your head, and then immediately they're talking about it's like all political, and I was like, all right, I understood it.
Right.
And then that like pushed me to like write like a short story after that, which did like a little bit better. But then like I realized that like what I was getting swarmed by were like episode 333, 5 minutes later, episode 334. People
Yeah.
just like doing insane shit. And it was like, how could I compete? And just because of how social media works, it's not just Reddit, it's Wattpad and Inc. It's just
Right.
all algorithm based. So like
Right.
people post and they're huge whales and they get people, even if they only have 50 people following them, those 50 people will immediately, upvote or like or whatever.
Hmm.
That gets sent to the top. And then people that go on to like that just like randomly discover it, that's the first thing they see. So it's
It just cycles.
self-reflecting
Sure.
always.
For sure. And see, that's funny that you said that you put your short story on Reddit because, like, there's all of these like subreddits, and when I want to go on them and like get feedback on my stuff, I get like demonetized. You know what I mean? They're like, no, you're not gonna be able to write for you. You put your own title in the book. I was like, well, aren't we talking about writing? This is a self-publishing subreddit. So it's like it's a fine line of I don't want to offend anyone, and I'm like, oh, okay, but I do want some advice on my book, but I have to put the title of the book in there because or else you're like, what is it supposed to mean? So
Or
that's
you
the
got to
other
do
thing.
extra, or you got to do like crazy amount of work. There's destructive writers that you basically got to fucking be like a 30,000 a year salary editor for somebody, so somebody could read your shit. It's like, all right, dude, what are we
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah. See, okay. So I did that for a really long time. And I actually am an editor now because I was doing it for
All
free.
works
And
out.
I was like thoroughly putting my heart and soul into these edits. And they loved the edits. They made the changes because they liked them. So I was like, great. And then they would just ghost me. I'm like, what my story though?
What the hell?
what happened? So after so many times of that, it's been like decades that's been happening. And then they would come back to me and be like, can you look at this book? I'm like, no.
Scumbag.
No. So then they started saying, okay, can I pay you? And I was like, no, I'm not a professional editor. I just have some like ideas for you. And like, no, I'll pay you. And then it kind of like snowballed and now I have all of these clients. So that's like my new thing is that now I have another passion of editing, which I really, really, really love. So hopefully that'll transition out of teaching. Teaching is soul sucking. I love it so much, but it is so tiring and just like it takes all my energy, especially now because we're all online.
I can
Crazy.
imagine. I have a theory. Do you like kids things, like kids movies and things like that?
Yeah, love them.
Hell yeah, right?
Yeah.
I truly think the highest form, like, I mean, you use like you use fuck and whatnot in your book. I definitely use it in my book. I love mature content. I mean, like, it's just like it's awesome, right?
Right.
I think there is a crazy god tier like reservation for like the type of content that can just transition between everything. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
That you can truly sit down, because I have nieces. I love watching like a good Pixar movie. Incredibles, a great example. You sit down and you have genuine laughs as an adult.
Yeah.
They're having genuine laughs as a child, and like everything is just like so phenomenally connected.
Yeah.
That to me is like what I want to achieve. Like
Right.
I would like to be like right now I'm muddled. I like swearing. I like the idea of like, like
Right.
I love that. But like what I want to get to my peak would be that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Where everyone of every age can enjoy your novel would be awesome.
Yeah.
Like as of right now, no one can kids can't enjoy marking. I will not be putting this in my shelf in my classroom. but you're right. And it's funny because I'll rewatch like Disney movies and TV shows and be like, that is an adult joke, and it got
Hella
by me
adult.
as a
Hella
kid. Yeah,
adult.
hella adult, exactly.
I was just watching Incredibles 1, and there's like a scene that I always loved as a kid that like Dash is like playing with something in the foreground,
Mhm.
and like what he's playing with is funny. But then if you notice in the background, the parents are like do like a little like, they give each other like the eye, and then they run to the bedroom, and you're like, yo, what?
Yeah.
They're about to get it on, guy.
Yeah, I remember watching it and thinking that too.
Oh my God. Like like yesterday I watched this, and just recently, like that recent.
Okay, I was a super fan of the Spice Girls. Okay, it was always on. I didn't care if anyone was annoyed with me. It was blasting through the house at all times of the night.
Okay.
You know Spice Girls? Oh my gosh. Okay, I was gonna sing it for you, but then I'm like, no, that's a bad idea. We're talking about writing. But
hell no, we're trying to get viewers up. What?
Just title this Spice Girls and everyone's gonna come. But I didn't realize, like, now that I listen to it, like, Two Become One, that was my favorite song. Like, oh, it's about doing it. I didn't know that. And I would like go to my mom, I was like, you made me listen to this. So she's like, you didn't know what it was about. I was like, I do now.
I grew up in the Dominican Republic. And like everything that we got was just like, all right, I'll just put it to you this way. The first American song, like the first time I ever heard English, was Pink, I'm Coming Up.
I love that song.
And let me tell you, I sang it like a motherfucker, like me 3 years old, right? Because I thought it was hot shit because I do English. I'm coming up.
Yeah. I love it. Can we send this to Pink now? Because I think she'll sign you.
No, 100%. What do you mean? No, because we already went bestsellers. Stephen King. We're gonna get a dinner with him. And Pink all together.
Yeah, all together.
Yeah,
they're all connected. We got this. One day you're really gonna have Stephen King on here, and you're gonna have to show him this clip.
No way.
Yes. You have to promise me now. That's
that would be phenomenal. He doesn't live that far. I went skiing one time, supposedly we're like in a town where he frequents, I guess.
Oh, cool. See, you're like practically brothers.
Right here.
Sorry, I didn't mean the word practically. That was insulting.
I mean, the skin color. Yeah, I know. It's just that I get sun because of the lights in the podcast room. Yeah, that's it.
In our pandemic room all day. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, and I eat a lot of candy. That's why I don't have that crazy square jaw that he has.
Yeah, I mean that must be the reason.
Yeah.
Crazy thing.
Well, from Mark King is Sir Bennet, right?
Yes, that's the second one.
How did that transition go? How did that go?
So originally, this was my very first standalone novel, and I was so proud of it. And I finished it, and I sent it out to like my coworkers. And one of my best friend coworkers, her name is Melissa West. She was like, "Yeah, I'm not done with them. So what are you thinking making this standalone?" I'm like, "Sorry, it's over. My characters are gone. They're out of my head. I'm working on a new project." And later that night, they came back to me and they're like, "No, she's right." I'm like, "Stop, don't do that." And I think I literally started just bawling, because at that point my hands had so much tendonitis in them from typing all day, every day. And I didn't eat, I didn't sleep. I was just in so much pain from like sitting, like my hips were hurting from sitting and writing. Like it was torture writing. I love this book so much, but it was torture. And I couldn't process doing it again. I just couldn't. So I was just like crying, and I was like, it's funny because I was crying and on my phone, and I was typing out the entire story like in bullet form, just for them to leave me alone for like a month, right? Just leave me alone for a month. I have it down. I'm not going to forget it. You guys good? We're good? Okay. And then it was like the next week, she's like, "Do you have chapter 1?" And I was like, "Oh, damn it." And then they came back and I was like, "All right, I'll type it." But at that time I was editing Mark King at the same time as I was writing Sir Bennet. So it was kind of like this weird toggle of, am I ever going to publish these? Like, if I'm already writing the second one, I'm not putting energy into publishing the first one, right? So that was the transition there. And then how about you? You have 9 books. What was that transition like?
Well, I started with Allegory.
Okay.
I started with Allegory of the End, Volume 1. And then I got into writing Hours of Mercy because it was actually something that a post on Reddit. I mean, I had already gotten to like it's actually 11, if I can be honest with you.
Now you tell me.
I just didn't want to correct you and sound like pretentious, but like
I thought you said 9 before.
No, I did, but then like it's 9 books, but then there's 2 graphic novels because there's like Banshee.
Book
That I
with
want.
Banshees also, by the way.
What was that?
I have a book with Banshees also.
Oh well, like the Banshee. Banshee is just a name. It's a sci-fi noir actually. It's a detective story. It's gonna be called Banshee Cannot Die. It's a female. Oh fuck! Huge spoiler.
Oh well,
Okay,
a
I'm
female
already
is
there.
barely a spoiler.
Oh well. Oh, you're right. Because I didn't say anything else. But I was already about to say everything else in my head. I was like, oh Jesus. Well, it's a pirate. Well, it's basically a spoiler. But like
female pirate. I'm
yeah.
on board.
Yeah, it's a female pirate that is I mean, imagine if somebody stole the B-2 bomber in the 1960s. You know what that was? Like that's like the ship that looks like all black and like that. It looks like
Creepy.
UFO. Yeah, imagine if somebody stole that at the height that the US government just made it.
Oh gosh. See, that's incredible.
Yeah, so the story starts off with in the point of view of the detective that basically gets put on the case of like, yo, this person just went from like nothing to 5 steps above number 1. She just stole the Leviathan 2, this crazy beyond insane ship.
Gosh,
and she just
come up with how.
What was that?
You're gonna have to come up with how.
Oh no, oh that's all because I started how I didn't think of the character because like I said, I come up with environment first and then kind of like what you said, like the characters kind of like just like hey, I want to be here, and like kind of pop up.
That's good. Welcome.
So like how it started off is that because Allegory of the End just stretched into 9 books by itself because I was like just postulating it, and then all the different characters, I just realized that like the story would be cooler. So Harry Potter is the universe of Harry Potter. Basically, it's like he's like a magnet. The entire universe curves around him, right?
Cool.
For as much as I like that, I didn't want to mimic that. I wanted like the world to feel like it was much bigger than just the characters. So Allegory of the End is just the beginning of the plot. It's basically kind of like introducing, I guess, like the multiverse, like the idea of like the multiple dimensions and how like how that correlates how I made it anyway. And then when you get that introduction, you get how different characters can transition in between them, and then it kind of just like levels up that way. Extremely complicated, which is why I like. So when I got through all that, I was like, all right, I want something just simpler. So then I thought, I was like, all right, well, I really like the idea of like Native Americans and like, well, not like it, but I always thought it was kind of fucked up how we just came over and was like, hey, nice land.
Yeah, me too.
For helping us out.
Get out of here.
Right. So I was thinking like, all right, so imagine if and again, I'm a huge nerd. So it was 2016 that we had just discovered gravity waves. So I was like, and what gravity waves are is that basically everything gives off gravity, minuscule amounts of gravity, right? So, but that was just like the theory. But they had finally gotten like confirmation about it, and then through that they were able to like basically like go back in time. Like they were able to find out supernovas that happened, billions of years ago through like the detection of gravity waves. So I was like thinking about, I was like, oh, can you imagine if we made like a lens, like the Hubble telescope, but with like, a filter, an Instagram filter with a gravity wave like detector, and we pointed it to the stars, and we noticed that like planets in our own solar system actually had rich civilizations that we thought were barren. So Neptune, Uranus, and what is the third one? The Saturn end up being like triplet planets, as they're called, and they're all like a huge civilization of really peaceful people, kind of like how akin to the Native Americans. And the moment we make communication with them, they're like, hey, yeah, we'll share communications with them, and then our technology rises up like a motherfucker. And then the moment we make an outpost over there, we're like, hey, how about we get a little more land? And then eventually we do the same thing and we repeat.
Dude, that's so sad. Like, you already have emotion out of me.
well, like I said, that's just the environment. And then I thought kind of like a character rising up out of that, because I love Katniss. And I love the idea that like a leader isn't a person that wants to come up and be a leader. It's like a person that is like
a rebel.
It's like, it's like a person that like kind of is the spearhead for like a movement of true change, you know?
Yeah.
So like what I wanted to do, and is the thing too, is that I had never thought that like female characters were ever shown to be truly villainous. You know what I mean? I always thought there was always that little empathy, like she had like a daughter, and like, you know, like she would always like cry, like something like that. I wanted a true ruthless
That's awesome.
pirate, and that's what I made. And then like, but slowly that own ruthlessness, and then kind of like how people show devotion to her, because like you know, they live in a thing where there's no more middle class, completely just ostracized.
One or the other.
Yeah, so she represents kind of like that poor side, and even she's doing all this crazy shit, they just bypass that. So she kind of believes her own hype, and then kind of goes from there.
Such a cool concept.
Yeah, I just realized I dropped a whole bunch of spoilers. Gives a fuck.
And you said you had graphic novels. Are you an artist? Are you drawing them yourself?
These are mine.
Those are so cool. Wow, those are really awesome.
I have like more actual like drawings and stuff, but yeah, I mean,
you
like,
sell them?
No, I just keep them myself.
You're gonna get famous one day, and they're gonna want anything with your signature on it. So
I don't think any like that. I really think I just like painting. It's like a pretty like relaxing. It's like what's the word? A cone sound.
Yeah, therapy,
right?
therapeutic.
Yeah, it's just like kind of just like go about it. And I like how like creative you can get. I mean, like you can take like a toothbrush and just like, you know, like do weird things. Or if you take like wet paint and you put salt on it and you let it crust, and then you like sand the thing off, it'll like look like a diamond encrusted.
Oh, cool. See, would never have known that.
Yeah, I mean, just like crazy things that you keep on like just like trying and shit. I mean, my mom is an artist. That's why my mom is way nastier. Cool. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You get your inspiration from her.
That woman is an animal. She, in this year alone, she learned, and it was before COVID, she learned how to make like ferment. What's that thing called? It starts with a K. Kombucha.
Oh, kombucha.
Kombucha.
Did I say it right? I might have said that wrong.
Kombucha. I don't know. That thing. It smells like vinegar. But that thing. She learned how to make that.
That's awesome.
She learned how to make cheese. She like has like a garden and like dehydrates a whole bunch of things. She actually wants to start making like a YouTube thing, and I like bought her like a whole bunch of I bought her a whole bunch of well, she doesn't listen to us anyway.
No, that's cool. I was saying that's really cool.
Yeah, I bought her like a whole kit for Christmas. It's gonna be awesome.
Just like one of those ring lights.
Oh man.
She get her a ring light.
That's a good idea, huh?
Yeah, she can make her kombucha, whatever it's called.
Kombucha.
Never mind, make that the title of this podcast. There's a question mark at the end.
Kombucha. I feel like we sound like Minnesota moms, you know? What is that, kombucha?
Yeah, that's funny. No, but I mean, people want to learn how to make that because it's so healthy for you. So I think that would be an amazing idea. She'll just get, and then she can promote you on her YouTube.
Oh no, my God. I hate I hate promotion. You know what I mean? I hate getting in front of people and like being like, hey, da, 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 you know what I mean?
Hard to talk about yourself.
Yeah, which is why I like doing, you know, because I like promoting other people though. I don't know why I feel way more comfortable being up and being like, hey, buy Mark King, Amazon Kindle, motherfuckers, what's up, out now.
Nice plug. You're really a natural at this.
Like, it's just like, I don't know. I feel way more like comfortable. Like, that's why I love the community. I truly, really do.
That's awesome. And you just had Temperance Dawn on here, I think a little while ago.
Temperance Dawn.
Possibly, maybe not. That's what she told me. She told me that she was hanging out with you, or maybe it was
no,
friend.
But I have it. I know them by names. That's why. It's that like you might be saying them as but I know them by their actual name. Do you know her name?
Yes, but I don't know if I'm allowed to say it. I don't have the authorization to say it because I was her editor, so I know her name, but I wasn't. I never asked her if I could be like, hey, can I call you by name?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, never mind.
But no, yeah. But yeah, I'm pretty sure she was on here. Awesome interview.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. It's funny how you were talking about like because if somebody quick note. I have a really bad like associative memory. So
Mhm.
like no matter how much I read your thing, every time I read your handle is 33 and me. Like the
33
23
and
and
me?
me. Yeah.
That's
So
adorable.
I read 33 and me. And
Okay,
like
whatever.
yeah, so every
I'm cool
time
with it.
so if I'm really like when I'm driving and like my phone's charging, so because Apple hates me and they don't believe in two ports, so I gotta choose between listening to music or charging because I don't have a Bluetooth.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry,
Me too. I have an
sorry,
analog
Apple.
clock in my
Yeah,
car.
sorry, Apple. I'm not up here. All right, I'm not out there yet. Uh, so while I'm choosing the charging option, and I'm just like thinking, I like think about it too. I'm like, oh, 33 and me in today. 33 and me. How's that working out? So is that like the alien version? They're finding out their alien chromosomes. Like, oh, who the fuck was I? Who the fuck was my ancestor?
Oh, so that's why you couldn't find me on Instagram at the beginning of this
33
podcast.
and me. What the fuck is that
You're like,
at?
no, that's not what it is. That's funny.
Oh man. So what is your Mount Rushmore? Well, are you a film buff by any chance?
Um,
Or do you like movies?
I love movies.
Okay.
It's funny because I wanted to, like, when I was a kid, I wanted to be an actor.
Yeah,
And
definitely. Me
so
too. I want to be a
yeah.
Disney actor badly.
Yeah, so right. Okay, so you get it. But
Yeah.
now, like, when I watch movies, I'm like, the lighting's off. Their shadows should be going the other way. And like no one wants to watch movies with me now.
Man, I don't even
Like
pick up on that. That's awesome. How
right?
do you pick up on lighting like that?
I don't know. I just think of that stuff. I don't know why. I think I'm just way too critical. I don't know.
Nah,
No idea where it comes from,
that's
but
a great
or
trait.
I'll be like, oh, I really like this song. Or the music in the background. I'm like, I didn't even notice the music. I'm like, yeah, but I did.
Have you seen Scott Pilgrim's Saves the World or whatever?
No, not yet. It's on my list. It's on my list.
It is
I
the
feel like
best
teaching.
movie to ever like blend music
Okay.
and like a movie. I don't
Okay.
even like rock. That's how good that movie is. I don't even like rock. I mean, I grew up
Awesome.
in like inner city and shit. I've always lived on
I
rap.
love rock. Rock is the best.
I'll tell you, when I went to college and I hung out with like more people that lived in suburbs and listened to rock and shit,
Mhm.
when they would just tell me about certain songs like Shaggy, I never heard that song.
Never heard Shaggy.
I never heard Shaggy. What's the big one? Blink 182 or Green
Yeah.
Day. Like
Yeah.
all the songs that like people would be like, oh, what do you mean? This was like my eighth grade. I'd be
Like
like,
what
no,
I
I
just
never heard it. Never heard it. The first time right now.
Well, that's good though. At least welcome to the community of rock. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
It's funny because I heard one of Green Day song yesterday on the radio, and I was like, this
Yesterday.
is so old. Like, why is it on the radio? And I'm like still jamming to it. I'm like, yeah, it's okay. Keep it playing. We're doing well.
Oh, those are the best. When that one random eighth grade song hits from Snap Your Fingers came up on my Spotify not too long ago, and I was like,
good old days, right? It's like I didn't even know if I was doing it right, but I was doing it. It's fine.
oh man, no, I was because like we were just talking about, I wanted to be an actor when I was a kid. So I was in the sixth grade class. I was the guy in front of the stage doing the flip.
Right.
You know.
I can see you doing that too.
Yeah, I know. I hated it. Fucking no, but what is your Mount Rushmore movies? That's what I
Is
was
that
getting to.
is that like my
Your
favorite
top
movie?
five, yeah. Like, what
Oh
is your top
gosh.
five?
Loved the first Pirates of the Caribbean.
Hell yeah.
Gosh, that was so good. Maleficent was so well done.
Hell yeah.
I can watch that movie over and over again. Okay, this is my
Angelina
alternate.
Jolie is honestly like God tier.
I haven't seen the second one yet because I promised my friend I would watch it with her. And since we've all been in quarantine, it's like, okay, when are we gonna watch it together? Because I haven't seen you in like 8 months. Like, should we just like do the Zoom thing?
Zoom thing, yeah.
That's gonna be so hard. Like, oh, it's
No,
Frozen.
I'm being sarcastic. I fucking
right.
It's icky.
And then I a sucker for romance, obviously, because I wrote marketing. Tangled. I am obsessed with Tangled. It's the Rapunzel Disney version.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Obsessed. It's on like 24/7. My husband had to get me a portable DVD player just so that I can watch it on my computer so that he can have the TV. and How to Train Your Dragon. That one always comes up. That one is just brilliant.
What about Lilo and Stitch?
That's my husband's favorite movie, but no, I didn't. I like it. I just wouldn't watch it as much as the other ones.
You strung yeah, because I
Right?
love animation.
I love
I
animation.
love animation.
It'd be
Kung
so
Fu
cool.
Panda,
Kung Fu Panda was hilarious. I watched that movie when I got my
Angelina
wisdom
Jolie.
teeth out. I was like, this movie is fantastic. Like swollen cheeks.
You know what's the worst part is that like when you're really there trying to explain like to your friends, like you're trying to have like thespian conversations, like no, but you saw the end. It really is like, it's all in yourself. You know what I mean? It's basically like a law of attraction if you think about it,
Tears running down your face.
Bro, you're talking about a talking panda. Yeah, but
So cute.
aren't we talking monkeys?
I know. It's a talking panda. That's the
Oh,
genius of it.
oh man.
They have a ride for it on where was it?
Universal.
Universal. I went on it recently. I
Florida.
thought it was the best. Oh.
In
No, and it
Florida?
wasn't Florida. In LA. I went to LA.
Wow.
Yeah, go. You need to go because it was hilarious.
No, I lived in LA. I live in Boston. I live in Boston now. I lived in Downey.
And you didn't know Universal is in LA?
No.
What is happening? Oh, that's because you're a writer and
I was doing no. I was doing a whole bunch of other shit. All right. When I moved to Downey, well, I went to California because like I had this idea that I just did everything I was gonna do in Boston. I was just like, I've been, I had my fun here. It's time to go somewhere else.
Right.
So I was like, all right, well, LA seems cool. So I went there and I got like an Airbnb for 2 weeks. And where I got my Airbnb was like this crazy party house, and the guy that owned it owned a club. And like, just the entire scene of the house was just like insane. And the first 2 weeks there, like I vibe with them well, and they vibe with me well. And then like a month from that, I just moved into that house.
Oh, cool.
So it was more that we just did some crazy fuckboy shit in that area.
Okay.
Instead of like me like branching out like a lot, you know what I mean?
Okay, well now you know, and when you go back.
No, yeah, definitely. I have a whole bunch. I can't wait to go fucking visit all my friends over there. Oh my god.
Wait for everything to be open, because then that would be a sad day.
I am so happy I'm not there right now, honestly. Yeah.
I'm in California, so
I'm a lot happier to be over here. I feel like I dodged a bullet too. I came back like a couple months before.
Right before.
Yeah, right before COVID hit.
Yeah, it's funny because my husband went to the Philippines in December and a little bit in January, and that was like back when it was like we don't really know what's happening.
Yeah,
right?
February. Yeah.
Yeah, and he came back. He never gets sick ever. I've never seen him sick. He's never had a headache. He's never had a sore throat. Like never. And this man went down. Like he was coughing and like we had to take him to the doctors and they said he had a pneumonia, and I was like, that's so weird. And he had like antibiotics and they didn't work. I'm like, that's so weird. And like 6 days later, boom, I was taken down, right? And so they didn't know what COVID was yet. And so it's funny because I was teaching at the time, and like I had this field trip coming up at like the height of when I had COVID, and I was miserable. I was like, I felt so bad. The only good thing is we were taking a field trip to the dump. So everyone was wearing masks, and like, cause it smelled bad. So like the dump has saved all my students and families, my chaperones, they were all safe because we all had covering, but we didn't know that like COVID was a thing. Can you imagine like if we had really been like so sick that no one could help us because they didn't have any research on it? I was crazy. And the only way we know is because I have antibodies. I did an antibody test and it came out positive. Isn't that crazy? Oh my gosh. I don't know why I thought of that, but there's a story for you.
Oh my God.
No,
I mean, just the COVID thing was just like completely crazy for me. It like, I just lucked out. I just worked at a really small company.
Nice.
Like, it was one of those things that like, and on top of that, for the most part, when I write, I don't like to get into the news too much. You know what I mean? So like, I remember it was just like, it was like somebody was reading another novel to me. It was like, oh, really? Wow. Okay. Right. Well, what about the
nonfiction?
Okay. And then that character really said that. Really? On TV? Yeah. Okay. Seems a little illogical, but all right.
A little. I know what you're talking about. It's funny because like the days leading up to our schools closing down was probably one of the most stressful days ever because it was coming out, right? There's like 1,000 cases, then 2,000 cases. And I'm like, I'm still mingling with kids and we had no protective
Oh my
gear.
God,
And
kids.
I have anxiety and panic disorder. So that whole scenario was horrible. I even like, I took masking tape and I set it like 6 feet away on the ground from my desk. And I was like, nobody is to cross this line. You stay on the other side. And all of them would like, they were all really respectful, but they would talk to me and I can see their spit landing on my face. And it was just that anxiety of like, do they have it? Do they not? Because we don't know enough about it yet. So all that whole last day where it was like, bye kids, it was like, oh, thank God they're gone. I need to sanitize everything. And then it's funny because they brought crews in to sanitize our classrooms. And I was like, great, I can go back in my classroom and get ready to send out stuff to the kids because we're all at home now. And I'm looking at like my table still have like glue on it. And like if I had known that you weren't really going to clean, I would have done it myself. Right. So then it was the stress of like, okay, we're bringing them back in because we complained and they brought them back in and it was still dirty. I was like, just let me do it. Let me clean my classroom to like Nikki standard, you know? So that, oh gosh. And now we're all online still. And now we're probably going back as hybrid and we are not prepared, people.
What is hybrid?
Hybrid is so I would be in the classroom with 12 to 15 students from Monday and Tuesday, and then Wednesday would be all online, and then the other half would come Thursday, Friday. But the catch is I'm still teaching the kids at home through my laptop. So I would have to have the laptop set up while I'm teaching the kids that are in my room, but also pay attention to the other 15 kids that are on the screen that also are raising their hand and need help. So it's like this, it's like we already have a system. We went home at 1,000 cases. Why are we coming back at like millions? So a little stressed. I may quit. I may. I love my job so much, but I am under so much stress. So
I can't say I'm at your level. Well, I can't say I can empathize with the situation because like that's just insane. That sounds crazy.
yeah.
But I can fully get behind like the quitting. I mean, I glazed over it. I have not slept well in like weeks. Like the moment you really decide to like crank on this,
right.
it's not like it really is 24/7. If you, the amount of hours that you're awake are hours that can go fully into it, and it's not like how it was in college that like you
right.
finish all your work and like you feel satisfied at the end of the day and you go to sleep.
Right.
You're in bed still like, oh fuck, I could do 4 or 5 more things though. I could. And you feel like shit every time you go to sleep, and then you wake up and still be like, all right, more stuff
there
to do.
Are no breaks.
No breaks. It's just
no
go.
weekends.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Go.
Oh, it's exactly. And then you're letting them down, and then you're letting the kids down, and then you're letting the parents down, and then you're letting your staff down, and then you have your principal you're letting down, and you love all of them. It's like it's never ending. Yeah. And then on top of that, like I get some not so nice emails from parents that I'm not doing a good enough job, and it's like I'm going to sleep crying every night because I'm not doing your kids justice. You know what I mean? It's just like it's all just too much for me. And I don't even get like the enjoyment is being with the kids for me and teaching them and giving them their aha moments and interacting with them. And I don't even have that. So yeah, it's crazy. My whole job is like a 180 now. It's just different.
Well, I really have faith in you. I really think that. Well, I mean, I'm not gonna go into that whole thing. I'm not gonna,
I get it.
Force it to like another. But I really do think that it would work out. I really do. I really do.
I hope so. We'll see. I love my writing. I do, and I love editing.
I loved your writing too. Oh, let's. Well, to segue back into the writing, I also wanted to talk about the thing that I glazed over in the beginning. That philosophical existential moment in the first 2 pages, right?
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I was reading, well, I don't want to spoil it, but there's like the whole scene that Dexter has like a choice to make in the very first paragraphs of the book.
Okay, got it.
And then when he makes that decision and the immediate realization of what he just
After.
made, yeah, my God, I really did
Oh,
have to just like put the thing down for a minute and be like, ah, geez, that's a good one. That's a good one.
yeah,
Truly.
yeah.
How did writing that come to be? Was that hard for you?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, writing in general is hard, especially when like I love these characters and I have to put them through some stuff I don't want to put them through. And I knew that, I think her name is Jane in the beginning of the story. I knew that Jane wasn't going to be the main character. She's not going to be Sarah Marking she was going to be, but as I was writing her, I'm like, this doesn't feel right. So she's got to go. How can I make her go? Oh, that's sad. So that's how that whole decision kind of came. But it's funny because that scene has caused people to put down the story and be like, that's enough for me.
Nah,
So
pulled me right in.
oh, I'm
Like a
glad. I'm
black
glad.
hole.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Right. But yeah, that one scene, I think it's hard because that's the first page. It's like make or break.
Can I break it down why I like it?
Yes, please.
All right.
Any feedback would be appreciated.
All right. Well, from like a psychological point, it it's like
You
it's the
can
whole
say what it
time.
was. That's fine. It's the first
No,
page.
no. I'm being completely honest. From a psychological point, it's the whole Tom and Locke thing. It's like the whole good versus bad, like the whole like nature thing. You have a
Yeah.
character that's immediately confronted with a situation, and that exterior wall isn't artificial. He's not like a tough guy playing tough. He's a tough guy that's tough in a
Right.
tough world. That's true. And he's confronted with a situation that he himself, man, I want to dance around it without like actually spoiling anything.
You can,
Like,
the beginning is fine. You can
oh,
spoil.
okay, yeah. So he's
Go for
confronted with a situation that like is the murder of a person that he understands needs to be as an infected.
it.
And I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that's not a spoiler because that right in the first page, right?
Right. Exactly.
So and he's tasked with killing a person that's infected, a task that he knows morally is the higher ground, because no matter who that person is, that person can infect another person, and that camp that he has, that sentiment that he has, could
Right.
go like that. And he has not only a responsibility to himself to survive, because
Mhm.
number one, you're in a survivalist world, right? But he has a responsibility to a camp. So he got to go, right?
You
And
gotta
then
go.
there's
Can you
no
imagine if Dexter
there's
said
no
that?
yeah, there's no situation. And then the thing that really got me was like the whole was him, like the ellipse is what got me. He was like, I could have done it in another room. I could have made sure she wasn't watching. I could have
Right.
just, but I did it.
But I
That's
didn't.
what got me.
Yeah. Oh,
It
right
was
in
like
the
that.
feels.
Yeah, it was like the understanding of like it was like, yeah.
It's funny because he was talking to me there, and I was like, okay, what would you have done? And he was like, I could have done this, I could have done this. And I got it set up for the next sentence for him to tell me what he would have done next. And then he just stopped talking. I was like, dot, dot, dot. I guess I'll never know. And that's kind of how that little scene came to be.
No, I truly honestly, it really, it's something because I mean I'm no expert by any degree, but there's certain themes that I've like talked about in like certain episodes, like in these episodes that I identify as great writing.
Mhm.
And to me, what it is when you have a character that's truly actually three-dimensional. It's not a person that like you feel it just suits the needs of the plot, or just as a, is like a thing that I raise in order to to garner
Yeah.
interest or like something like that in order to
Right.
put reflection into.
Right.
It's a person that really, is a person and has thoughts and feelings, and I felt it immediately,
Oh,
immediately.
great. That's my hope.
Well, you got it.
That's my hope.
I was pulled
Yeah.
in immediately.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. Yeah. And it's funny that you notice that, because that's how I feel when I'm writing, is like these are real people. I care about them. They're really in my head and they're really talking to me. So thank you for noticing that. It wasn't just like swept under the rug. So at least it's validating, you know what I mean?
Oh, uh I can't tell you how like what's the word? Like enthusiastic I am for Sir Bennet. Like
Yay.
just based off how
The cover?
Yeah,
I
well,
love
just
cover.
the cover, but just based off Mark King and like the continuation of the, I'm 100% gonna write it. I'm definitely gonna put that review up. I'll tell you. Yeah, we'll stay connected after this. I'll tell you all
Yeah, for
about it.
sure. I'm excited to hear what you think about Mark King at the end, and because I don't think you'll guess it because I didn't guess it, but I think you'll be happy with it. So we'll see. I've gotten good reviews, so that
I'll be
makes
honest
me.
with you. I'm not I'm not smart when it comes to like I never guess movies, even if it's
Oh,
real
really?
obvious. Like every time I'm watching a movie,
I
I'm
do.
like, oh man, that's crazy. And then I'll get psychological, like died like picking it
That's
up
funny.
after. But like as I'm watching, I'm just there like, oh man, that's crazy. So that's
Yeah.
how I am. That's how I am with writing a book,
That's
reading a
funny
book.
because either one, movies or books, I'll guess the really fine details of a plot twist. I'll be like, oh, that'll happen, and they're like, no, it's not gonna happen. But when it's something that's really obvious, I was like, I don't know what happened. And they're like, how did you not guess that? You guessed like Inception, you know? And I'm like, yeah, but there was something about this Disney movie that I just didn't get.
You know, all right, if I can be honest, that's what it is. I can like when it's a movie that I know I have to, my brain has to be on for.
Right.
That's when I can, I can guess like I'll know what's happening in the first like 10 minutes. Like, all right, yeah, that's the guy right there. Nah, stop
Right.
bullshitting me. That's the guy. I know
That's
it.
like what happened with me in Frozen 1. I was like, Hans, I don't like him. I don't know what it is. I don't like him.
That's the one movie I haven't seen.
Ah,
Because all right, I'll tell you why. It's because for whatever reason, my niece just gravitated more to Coco.
I loved Coco.
So like that was just the one that was more on repeat more than
Okay.
Frozen. And then
Okay. Just
yeah,
watch it and get out of the way.
I
Just get
mean,
out of the way.
all right. I have Disney Plus now, so like I've been running through those movies. My God.
Good. Yes, I have Disney Plus too.
You know what's my thing? The Disney Channel original movies that like
I
I
love
grew up
those
on.
movies. I
Yeah.
did too. Are you
Yeah,
a
yeah.
90s kid?
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
94. Yeah. And
Yeah.
even weirder is like because of the whole thing of growing up in the Dominican Republic, like our shit was uh like staggered. So like
Yeah.
what I grew up on, like most of the people that I like talk to and like communicate with about like things that I like are like in the 30s.
Okay.
Most of my friends are like 25 and like
Yeah.
26 and shit. We're not on the exact same level. Like
Yeah.
I was just like a 5 year. We were just like 5 years behind. You know, I never watched Blue's Clues or like any
Same.
that bear with the house, right?
Oh,
Blue bear blue. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. I
You know what
thought
I'm
of a
talking about.
couple bear ones. I was like, I don't think those are it. I was like Pinky and the Brain, All Real Monsters, Rocket Power.
Yeah, I
Rocket Power is like
I
the end of mine.
so people always talk about Rocket Power. I just didn't like Rocket Power. I didn't like Rocket Power or or not. I was about to say hot dog or cat
Cat Dog.
cat
Cat
dog.
Dog.
Didn't like it.
I didn't like Rocket Power either, but when I moved to, I think it was middle school, my time I needed to get up to go to school had changed, and I always had the TV on when I get ready. And that was
Oh
the
my
only
God,
thing
the
that was on
remote
Nickelodeon. I was
days.
like, all right, great, I'll have to watch this. And then eventually I was like, is it this episode? I like this episode. And then it just kind of spiraled. Now I like it.
Oh my God, weird tangent. Did you ever watch
Yes.
Brandy and Mr. Whiskers?
No, I've never heard of that.
One of my favorite cartoons. And in that house in Downey that I lived in, the person that was an animator for that show.
Oh, cool. That's the best.
I wanted him to work on my graphic novel so badly, but he was just on different wavelengths in life. God bless him. God bless him. I hope he's doing well now.
Maybe he'll cycle back to you one day.
Oh man, hopefully, because that he was the first person that I ever saw draw that could draw like from skeleton. So like he would
Oh,
draw
cool.
something and be like, all right, well, this is how like the posture would be, and he would draw like a skeleton,
Yeah.
and then draw like me over it, and then like build it up like that. And I'm like, oh my God. And then he would explain that like that's how you get everything like anatomically correct, because then you can use like the pencil to be like, all right, well, like a head is always like the fifth of like the leg, and it's perfect. And he was like explaining that to me, and I was just like, wow. I mean, I'm not gonna remember what you're saying, but like,
I won't
wow.
remember this, but it's amazing.
Yeah, I'll remember for the podcast when I tell it, in the future. But
Yeah.
that's about it.
Yeah.
My God.
You do that whole like thumb thing
uh
for proportions.
Man, and that circle of like the perfect thing, the Leonardo da Vinci like ratio, perfect
Yes,
ratio thing, the golden ratio.
makes
Just
sense.
people that really actually do that, you know?
Yeah,
Can you
yeah,
imagine?
that's a
I
lot
mean,
of
then
charisma.
again, I guess we do that though, because I'm sure. Do you do a cadence check when you read, when you edit?
Like read it out loud and see how fast I'm reading it.
No, like a cadence. Like you
Mm.
ever like notice that like as you're writing, you might want to go for like a certain cadence, like da da da
Yeah,
da 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 da.
yeah.
Yeah,
It when I edit, yeah, not so much. My first drafts are just
yeah, yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah.
But when I want it to be something dramatic, you'll see I'll put it on a separate line, and then I'll put another one on a separate line, and then I'll have like a punchline, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny because I'll go back and forth and be like, that's not that dramatic, Nikki, bring it back. And I'll delete it. And then I'll go through it again, like, no, it needs to be dramatic. And I'll put it back. So that's kind of where my cadence happens. But normally I just like a mix of, oh, I wish I could memorize this. My best friend, who's also a writer, showed me this guy who created a sentence or a paragraph to show the music of writing. So he had like, it was, I'm never going to do it justice, but it's like writing is great. Writing is really great. And then his length of the sentences just got longer and more intricate as it went on. And it felt like a poem. And I was like, wow, that was so impactful. And so now I think about that every time I write. It's like, do I have too many long sentences? Do I have a short sentence? Because it needs to sound like music when people are reading it. And so I always think about that. I want to
Yeah.
find it. I got to ask her, and I'll send that to you too.
Well,
He's
yeah,
really cool.
that's actually like what I was like what I was like getting to, the crazy nuances that like we develop as like we're writers is like we're completely when I try to explain these edits to my friend, it's
Mhm.
like, what are you spending hours on?
The same page.
It's like, dude, no, but you're not getting it. This word versus this word,
No brainer.
I can't. That's a 3-hour decision.
Yeah, it is.
It's like, because
And
you're
then
over
you
there.
end
It's
up
like
like not using it at all. And it's like,
that's my favorite. My favorite is when you spend a day on a paragraph and then you get rid of
right?
that page and you're like, oh, okay.
It's so funny. In Mark King, it was like my favorite freaking chapter ever. And it was like this really dramatic in Sarah's head, like trying to figure things out. I don't want to spoil anything, but I just loved it so much. And I gave it to my sister-in-law, and she basically put an X through the whole page and then wrote, doesn't advance the story. And I was like, damn it, she's right. And so like, because she's like, it slowed it down. Like it's great that you want to understand her very much, but at the end of the book, we kind of already understand her. It just slowed it down. I was like, okay. And I took it out and it worked so much better. But that chapter was like my life. I spent so long doing that chapter, and it was like, because like I was crying while I was writing, and I was like, it means so much to me. I'm like, apparently it doesn't mean that much to everybody. It was just the like mood I was in when I was writing it. But I have it on a separate doc, and I look at it occasionally.
Wow.
Yeah.
My version of that was the first time I sent my like first draft of my first chapter to a friend of mine. He
Mhm.
All right, so I emailed it to him.
Okay.
I woke up the next day with it stapled on my door. I'm
Oh
not lying to
no.
you.
Oh
It was
no.
stapled on my door, and I remember like, it's like my apartment, and I like fucking take out the fucking paper, and it's my fucking first chapter. I'm like, what the fuck? And like,
Oh
I mean, it's colored. It's on black and white paper, but it's
no. Right.
colored with
Oh,
highlighted.
highlighted.
And I'm like,
Oh
yo,
no.
he highlighted every time I used the word I.
Oh, and it was like way too much.
I,
Destroyed.
and I was just like, I'm telling you, I just ripped it up right there, went right upstairs, didn't go to my class.
Oh,
That's where I was going to be productive that day. I was like, all right, whatever.
no, just stopped it.
Hit up my friend's bar. I'm not a writer, evidently.
No.
Whatever. 9 to
Yeah.
5s for me.
You got to keep it though, so to remind you of when you
Well,
write.
well, that's the thing, is that like, especially in today, is that like anytime you say that like you voice a thing like that, there's like a million people that come like, oh no, you gotta be that, and I 100% agree with that, but it's like you also gotta vent too. I
Yeah.
100% believe in motivation, a thousand
Right.
percent believe in like
Right.
putting everybody up, but you gotta let me, you gotta let me fucking vent and steam out a little bit,
Yeah.
a little.
Your characters will thank you.
You know, fucking shit. And then
Right.
like, you know, 5 minutes later, it's like, oh no, yeah, no, I get it. I'll get back on the horse.
It's funny. I was having one of those like I give up writing moments, and it lasted for like a good 6 hours. And then like while while I was having that, I got a new story, and I was like, okay, everybody stop, give me back my laptop that I threw out the window. I have something else I need to write. So I get it. I get it. I even like printed out all of my rejection letters for some of my other novels, and I taped it to like my desk because I was
Hell,
like, at least I heard
yeah.
something, because most of these agents just don't respond to you at all, and these are like specific things they liked and didn't like, and I was like, great, I'm gonna print it out, it's the closest I'll get to publishing.
Legendary.
Roller coaster.
Legendary. Well, if
Yeah.
fuck, I kind of, I don't want to like do the promo. I feel like so fucking slimy doing it, but like
No, it's fine, go for it.
I'm pretty like excited about it. As I said, the bees thing was the
Yeah.
first short story, and the short story I followed after was kind of like my revenge to Reddit was The
Right.
Last Planet.
Nice.
And that short story is getting published by people that I just had interviewed, like the Collective Darkness, the people that did
Oh,
that.
cool.
Elizabeth Suggs and Jonathan Reddock. I don't know if you have them on Instagram, but pretty like in there.
Congrats.
Yeah, it's a short story like anthology. It's coming out spring 22,
Okay, send it all to me.
2022.
Send it
Yeah,
all.
it's awesome. It's again, it's one of those things like validation. It's like one of those, you know, like yeah, I thought that
Right.
the first one was shit, and then I make my revenge, like, all right, well, fuck you, motherfucker, I'll get back at you, and then
Right.
like it's like, all right, cool,
We're
it's
good. We're good.
completely crap, and then like I make a third one, and then that one goes into the water, and I'm like, all right, well,
Yeah. And it's funny because
maybe I'm a one trick pony.
as a writer, you have to enjoy the small successes, because there's going to be very few. You know what I mean? Like, oh, your friend liked it, celebrate that. Oh, your parents like it, celebrate that. Someone random put a review, even if it's bad, celebrate that. You know what I mean? Or else you're just
Yeah.
going to go crazy, because life as a writer is so hard.
Well, quick little thing. Where does well, the reason I had asked for your favorite movies, and the reason I'm gonna ask right now for your favorite books is I like stringing everything together into like inspiration and genres that you like put into
Yeah.
your own books. And how does like that work for you?
So my all-time favorite author is Judith McNaught.
Tell me why.
So I don't care if you tell me that my writing is crap. Don't tell me that her writing is crap. I will be offended. She is all romance, and
Okay.
she's actually what got me into writing romance, because she's in like a league of her own. I don't even understand where she comes up with some of this stuff, but it's like, have you ever watched a movie or like gone to a concert, and when it ends, you just feel empty? Like,
Yeah.
oh, it's over. It's like, it's so
Oh my
depressing that
God,
it's
that is the
over.
best. Yeah, that's the best
That's
feeling.
that's her
Do
books
you
for
like
me.
EDM?
No.
I get it. I went to school in Florida. If I did,
Okay.
if I didn't go to high school in Florida, I would have no way I would be into EDM.
Right, right. And that's the other thing, is that like the places you go,
100%.
influence your writing too. But
I was like, it was like a movie when I went down there because I was like wearing the baggy jeans. So it was like, nah, yo, I ain't doing that shit, cuz. Right. And then like 3 months later, I'm like, yeah, bro. Dang,
yeah.
you know.
I've been here long enough. I'm welcome.
Yeah.
Good.
Um, no, yeah, that's one of the best feeling like descriptions you were talking about. Just feeling empty, like, oh
Yeah,
my God.
yeah, it's over. Sadness.
But
But that's Paradise is my favorite book of hers. And then I just like snowballed and like read all of them, most of them. I'm saving some because she doesn't write that much anymore, so I need to calm down. But I did grow up on reading YA novels. So Twilight, Hunger Games, all that jazz. I read all of those books, and I was a YA novelist, and I have like all my stories are YA. This is like the only adult book that I've written. And now I'm like, crap, how am I gonna I can't write, I can't publish anything else, because I have adult fans now. They're not gonna want to read like a teeny bopper story that I wrote like 10 years ago. How do I go from that to this? So I don't know. We'll see. I have like YA novels up the wazoo, but I don't know what I'm gonna do with them.
publish them.
how do I go for like, okay, great. So my kids are going to read the YA novels, not my kids, my students. I call them my kids.
Yeah.
They're going to read my YA novels and be like, what else did she write? Mark King, let's read that. Dude, fired.
Look, I mean, I hear you, but like, man, I don't know. Maybe I'm like a hippie about it, but like, I have nieces, and like we were talking about, we both really like animation. I really want to be able to make something that I can go and give to like my niece and like have something that they can enjoy. Just because I want to also cater to something that like, can really get into your mind racing. I can't. I got to pigeonhole myself. That's crazy.
I've been
And
thinking,
we're not agented. You made your own copyright page.
Yeah, that's true.
What are you talking about? We can do whatever you want.
I'm gonna write that and post it above my computer. You wrote your own copyright page, and I'll think about this every time because that makes me so proud when you say that.
Think about that. You realize editing companies hire a lawyer to do that. That's a full $60,000 a year position that you just did.
Do it myself.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I don't need no publisher.
Yeah.
Although if a publisher's listening, I am open to ideas.
Yeah, everything I just said. What am I talking about? What am I talking about? I don't know anything.
My dream. But that is true. That is very true. Because I've been battling, should I go back and rewrite the YA novels to make them more adult? Because I don't have to change the plot. I don't have to change the characters. I just have to make it more adult. Language, and violence, all that good stuff. Crank it up a notch. So I'm still thinking about that, but I'm not sure.
I mean,
conversation for another podcast. Another time we talk, because that's going to be a whole other discussion.
My God, this was a great episode. Thank you so much for joining me.
No problem.
Oh my God.
Pleasure.
Well, quick little plug. You have an Etsy store, don't you?
I don't. That's actually my friend's Etsy store that she was kind enough to put a Mark King shirt there. And I think like I might be the only one purchasing it, but I'm like, Dexter, I want it in Dexter size. So I want to pretend I'm wearing his shirt. I know. Really
that's awesome.
I know, it's whatever. But so it's actually her shop, and her shop is super addicting. It's called Wild. Oh, she's gonna get mad at me. I think it's called Homegrown Wildflower Shop. If I said it correctly, it's on my Instagram. Okay. And she has all things book related, anything, and she does custom stuff. So like shirts and bookmarks and like book holders. She sews them all by hand. Holders. I don't have it with me. It's at my friend's house because she's borrowing it. But they're like, my friends like to take books with them wherever they go in case they're in a lobby and have to wait. So they take books. So these are pouches that you can put your books in, so to keep them safe in like your purse or when you're walking or whatever. And she has like Avengers ones and Halloween ones. It's so cool. So you're going to get addicted if you decide to go to her shop. So I encourage you all to go get addicted.
Check out the shop.
Yeah, the shop is the best. Homegrown Wildflower Shop. I believe that's the keyword there.
100%. I'm going to also share the screen real quick on website and everything so people can know where to find you. Let's get it up right here. Okay, here we have the Instagram.
Hey, it's me.
Yep. So make sure to follow. Then right here we have the Amazon. Oh, motherfucker, should have been already clicked.
Oh my gosh, I'm so in love with my cover. I still can't believe it's mine. I don't even care how much I spent on it. I look at it and be like, that's mine.
Oh, right there. What's up? Buy it out now.
To put a review, because as soon as I get 25 reviews, I get put into other people's you might also be interested in list. Yeah, see, algorithms.
Look at that. A girl like you should be dead in a world like this.
Tagline.
Beautiful color.
Thank you. He is so amazing.
And then the website.
Yes, and all my social media there, in my what's it called? Newsletter signups are there too.
Hey, newsletter, join the fucking newsletter.
If you're interested in me editing your work, we can do some sample edits. It's all good. I'm here for you guys.
Yeah, definitely check it out, man. You got to. Anything else you have the Desi Write thing, right? You want to plug that?
Oh yeah. So it's funny because I'll tell you a story about Reddit, but yeah, December we write, so Deck we write, DEC, Deck we write, and it's like a fun challenge to bring the writing community together. I can't talk right now. Writing community together on Instagram, and it's like cute little things like post the last things your family member texted, and then everyone respond how we should answer or reply. And it's really funny because things are out of context. And it's just little things to keep ourselves connected, to grow our platforms, to make some friends. And I posted it on Reddit. They did not like that. I don't know why.
God,
one was just no, period, no. And I was like, okay, great, cool, whatever.
I mean, I don't want to shit on Reddit because I mean, like,
I met you on Reddit.
Exactly, right? You can't. But it's like the thing that you hate is that like Instagram is like most people either just don't say anything and they're like, oh yeah, hey. And Reddit people like pop up just to
right
come up just to say that witty one-liner.
Slap in the face.
Yeah.
And I appreciate it. There's some things I'm like, okay, that was mean, but it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
So whatever.
That's the thing you really got to get into.
So join the challenge. Feel free, hop in and out of the challenge.
Yep. And then on my side, quick little shameless plug for I almost forgot. Jesus Christ. Oh, December giveaway. You can win. Go to neotino.net. You can win a chance to get one of these comic books.
Yeah.
Right. And a custom-made bookmark.
Oh, sick.
Aluminum.
Ah, cool.
I just engraved this today. It's like the moon with.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nice
Yes.
little thing, nice little tassel.
That's high quality.
Yeah, it's actually like really like strong metal.
Okay, I got to show you something while we're speaking.
Yeah, because you have your bookmark, no?
I do. I have a bookmark.
And I got the idea from you.
Oh, perfect. I'm glad. I didn't know that they were this mini. Here's a secret. I thought I was buying full-size bookmarks, and when they came, I'm like, what? These are adorable. So I didn't know.
That would have been a call to the manager.
No, it was my fault. I didn't read it correctly with my dyslexia.
Oh yeah, that's why it would have been a call to the manager, because I would have been mad at myself. Hey, listen, why didn't you know I fucked up?
Oh gosh, just take my money, just take it all. But now that's like been a selling point, because like everyone likes mini bookmarks. I'm like, perfect. So I actually use them myself, but whatever.
No, yeah, it's awesome. Like I love little things like that. Like it's actually why I was so fucking excited for this for the interview.
Yeah.
Just because you kind of like gave me more time. Usually like my interviews are like, oh yeah, tomorrow. Yeah. Just because like you gave me more time, it was just like constantly just seeing like your feed and like, okay, just like having like things to be able to talk about. It was awesome. It was just like,
and I know some of my friends are following you too now, so I was like, it all worked out nicely. And I was also awesome. Teaching, and I was like, I need to find a time where like my lesson plans are done.
Oh, that's awesome.
Great. Yeah.
All right. Well, Mar King out now. Sir Bennet coming soon. Website. Stay updated. This is the end of the podcast. A.R.'s Tales. I'm A.R. Minabal. Nicolette Beebe. It was a pleasure.
It was. That was fun, my friend.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
Later.
Bye.